I have been talking and reading a lot about how minds work, not the brain, but the mind. So when I was thinking about this, there are a lot of science and spiritualism that I have come across. I have experienced myself. I have thought of making people aware about how this works. And when I was thinking about sharing these things to a lot of people, there have been a lot of listeners who came up and told me, "Is this true? Does this happen?" Because spiritualism is not just about very tangible. It's an intangible thing that we just can feel. But there are certain spiritual aspects across us. There are certain spiritual happenings around us that happens most of the time, which are beyond the thoughts, beyond the materialistic pleasure. It just gives you that pleasure of coming out of this. So when I say the lights of mind, there are a lot of shades that come in our mind. But before I get into this topic, let me just share a story with you. Now, this story is about an old man. He was almost 85 years old. And during his 85 years, he has never smiled. He has never laughed. So today is his 85th birthday, and there had been a lot of celebrations happening all around for him. But today, unfortunately or unfortunately, he is laughing from the morning. So people are shocked, like, what happened? Why is he laughing? All throughout these years, we have not seen him laughing. Today from the morning, he started laughing. So a lot of people came up to him and asked him, like, what happened, sir? You have not been laughing for quite some time, but today you have started laughing and smiling from the morning. So initially he was ignoring these questions, but when many people started questioning him, he stood up and he said, for the last 85 years, I have been searching for happiness. And from today, I have stopped searching happiness. From today, I have found out that I should not be searching happiness outside me. The happiness is here within me. So that is actually the topic which I will be talking about, the lights of mind. The lights that creates the happiness inside us, the lights that creates not so happy things, the lights that pushes us to be angry, the lights that push us to become gloomy, and the lights that pushes us to become spiritual and non-spiritual as well. Now, a lot of people around the world, they mistake spiritualism as religion, but trust me, religion is just a backup for spiritualism. It is not at all. Really, practicing religion is not practicing spiritualism, actually. Spiritualism, in simple words, what I believe, there are a lot of perspective, a lot of people think in a very different way, but for me, spiritualism is just practicing your life the most natural way as you can. That's what spiritualism is me. From the morning, we wake up till the night we go off to sleep. How natural you are living. Living inside an air-conditioned room is not the natural way of living. Having a food which is an artificial flavored is not spiritualism. But at the same time, I'm saying it is not possible in today's world to be practically practicing 100% spiritualism in our rat race today. It's not possible. But we try our best. So when I say lights of the mind, we should know that practicing the everyday life that we are into, how much spiritual we can be. So there are a lot of people out here. There are many people who are much, much elder to me out here. With all due respect to your experience and age, let me ask you a question. How much of your day's time are you practicing a bit of spiritualism? How much in the entire day you are practicing a bit of yoga, a bit of pranayama, a bit of breathing exercises, a bit of understanding and visiting your inner self? Now, when I say inner self, there is one more story that's flashing in my mind. Now, the story is all about, it's basically about three people. The first person is riding a bicycle. And when he's riding a bicycle, he can actually see very far from his position. Because his speed is on an average is around 15, 20 kilometers per hour. And he's riding and he can see quite far across the road. Beside him, a car just flashes him, with 100 kilometers per hour. If you ask that driver, how far can you see while you're driving? He'll just say, I can see maybe 1 or 2 years beyond me. If you ask him questions, can you see left side or right side of yours from your window? He'll say, no, I can't see because things are just flashing away. Now there's a third person who's flying an aeroplane. If you ask that person, how far can you see, sir? He said, see, when I'm flying an aeroplane inside this cockpit, most of the time I'm looking inside the cockpit rather than looking outside through the window. And there's a moral of this story. The moral is if you really need to fly high, you need to look inside and not beyond. As Mr. Mitra said when we started this program, this talk show, he said that all the legends, all the greatest leaders, all the spiritual leaders, they have always told us, if you really need to find something, if you really need to make successful endeavors in life, first visit yourself. Then you can change. The problem is, most of the time, we get judgmental with people. Most of the time, with 5 minutes of an interaction with a person, we try to judge that person. And that's the biggest flaws that we make in our everyday life. Can we be neutral about with people? Can we just stop being judgmental? Can we just see a person the way he or she is, not just finding out his or her inner feelings and inner thoughts? The problem is we just not stop being judgmental. We start, expressing that judgmental feeling to that person again after a few days. And we start suggesting them about negativity and positivity. Now that is another problem. There are a lot of questions I face when people ask me, like, how do you define negativity and positivity? Is there any concept like positive way of talking, positive way of looking things, positive way of feeling? Is there anything like that? I'll say yes. I'll give you a fine example. If you have an FM radio with you, there are a lot of frequencies in that radio, right? You just tune to various frequencies. So, for example, think in one frequency which is playing some beautiful and enjoyable Punjabi bhangra, and in the other frequency, there's a Hindi song getting played like Mera Jivan Kora Kagaz Kora Hi Rahega. So it's up to you which frequency you want to tune in. That means that both the frequencies are there in your room. It is your choice in which frequency you want to tune in, that bhangra or the gloom songs. So it is in every aspect of our life, we think and we choose. The only thing we cannot choose are the birth and death. In between birth and death, everything that we do is our choice. So directly or indirectly, consciously, subconsciously, we choose. So if you can just choose wisely, if you can just choose more spiritually, if you can just choose more effectively, I think we can actually feel the optimistic part of life, the positivity that we have around us. The lights of mind. You remember in school, we have learned about 7 colors, the Vibgyor, remember? Violet, indigo, green, yellow, red, and all these colors. These colors are still associated with our life. These colors are actually the chakras, the energy level that we have inside us. The 7 chakras that we have inside us. I'm sure that you have heard about this. If you can activate these chakras, if you can activate these energy levels, these points of energy level, you can actually see your inner self better. There are a lot of articles about this. There are a lot of discussions that can happen on these chakras, but I'll not get into those things because I want to keep this very simple. If you can activate each and every chakra, you can actually open up various windows of yourself. You can actually understand your personalities. You can understand why people misunderstand you. I get a lot of questions almost every day, at least 20, 25 mails every day, people asking me, so why do people misunderstand me? Why my wife is not understanding me? Why do I have quarrels every morning? So there are a lot of these questions. And I remember in one of my sessions, someone came up and told me, so mujhe na log samajhta hi nahi hai. People don't understand me. So I had a very simple answer. अगर लोग आपको नहीं समझ रहा है तो आप लोगों को समझ लो जाके. It will be very simple. But we make it very complicated most of the time. We expect that people will try and understand me. Why? Because all of us have a different perspective. There are a lot of friends around me who are psychologists, we are psychiatrists. They talk about divorces these days. My wife doesn't understand me. My husband doesn't understand me. Now, if I ask you a question, how do you define this term called understand? You actually don't have a clear answer. If you ask this question to yourself, till today, you don't have an answer. What do you mean by the term understand? So the chakras, they're starting from the Muladhara, the root chakra that we have. I'll just give a brief about this because these chakras are associated to colors. I'll not just talk about this, I'll give you some tools to practice as well. So from today, if you can start practicing, maybe 6 months down the line, you will be able to understand these colors better. So the root chakra that we are talking about is the Muladhara. It is pointed just at the tip of our spinal cord below, from where the spinal cord starts. That's the Muladhara. And when I speak about this chakra, the color of this chakra is red. This gives you a feeling of confidence. If this chakra is closed, people who have chakras closed, they will suffer from lack of confidence. They will suffer from absolute fear of amalgamating with people around, of socializing, right? So if you have a proper meditation, we can have one more session, Sushmita, maybe later on, showing them the meditation techniques about activating these chakras. But if you can, there are a lot of YouTube videos as well. I mean, authentic YouTube videos you have to look for. But there are a lot of videos where the activation of these chakras are available. You can go through this. You can start practicing those yoga and those meditation techniques where you can activate the root chakra. That will give you much more confidence while you are speaking. So after the Muladhara, then we have the Swadhisthana, which is called the sacral chakra. The color of this chakra is orange. So every color that I say, you will end up being a Vibgyor that we have studied in our science class in our school. All right, it's associated. So science and spiritualism, it's closely associated. It's synced with each other. But we need to know how it's connected. That is the most important part. Okay, so the next chakra is the Swadhisthana. This talks about your creativity, your sexual energy, your urge of getting into sexual activity with an opposite sex, right? So that's where the Swadhisthana is all about. The chakra's color is orange. Now, someone missing with this chakra, someone these chakras are closed, they will suffer from lack of creativity. The lack of they will find life very monotony. It's absolutely monotonous life, right? So that is the next chakra. Next, we have the Manipura. The Manipura is the solar plexus chakra, which talks about the expressing about your true selves. The ahankara that we have, the aham that we have inside us, that is based on this chakra. It talks about self-worth. It talks about your self-esteem. Right. So someone this chakra is activated is absolutely a person who has got immense self-esteem, immense self-respect, and this chakra is closed, they will be suffering from lack of self-esteem. Right. So now most of us who are in this meeting right now, most of us have these three chakras activated by default, because these chakras, if you zoom in minutely, these chakras give you the materialistic pleasure that we are here for on this earth. The next four chakra that I'll be talking about, those are basically the spiritual part that we need to practice. So these three chakras we already have activated. Some of the more, more or less it's activated within us. The next four we need to practice. So after the Manipura, we have the Anahata. This talks about the heart chakra, which talks about giving and receiving love. Now, when I say love, again, this is a very, very, very large word. There have been a lot of times when people say love should be immaterialistic. Someone giving love should not expect the same thing in return. All these talks. But trust me, in the practical world, we are in Kali Yuga these days. It's very tough to practice this. We all have expectations. We all have something to expect from our partner. We all love each other, and in return, we want something. Even the parents want something from their children. You have to accept this, right? So every love cannot be an unexpected love. You can't just say that I love you and in return I don't want anything from you. It's not possible. We want something, but you have to identify what you want in return. Do you want something in materialistic pleasure, or do you want an immaterialistic pleasure in return? So that is what you need to choose. And that is where expectation differs. That is where most of the divorces are being held across the world. Right. So this chakra talks about the compassion, the empathy for people around us, across us. That is where we need to talk about. Right. Then we have Vishuddha. Vishuddha talks about your voice. It talks about your throat. Someone whose this chakra is closed will always have the fear to talk truth. Someone whose this chakra is closed cannot open up to people, will always hide something from people, right? So you need to have a proper yogic technique and meditation technique to open up this chakra. It is not required that you have to open up step by step. You can open up and concentrate on any of the chakras and you can start working on that. So the throat chakra talks about the truthfulness of our voice. What we speak are the true. What we are expressing are the original. What we are talking to my partner, is it coming from the heart, or it's just that I wanted to speak? So it differs. So the throat chakra activates this, and the throat chakra controls this, the energy that is in the throat. The next we have is the ajna. Ajna is the third eye. It's very difficult and it needs a lot of practice to open up the ajna, because that's the third eye, and that is basically your wisdom. That talks about, information beyond the materials, informations that we receive beyond our eyes, beyond what we see. I'll give an example. It's not that your third eye is closed. All of our third eyes are open, but not adequately. I'll give an example. Many of the times we have felt that something is going to happen to me, and it has happened with us. In normal world, we call this sixth sense. In normal world, we say that I have a very strong sixth sense that whatever I think, it happens with me. Every morning I get a feeling that today my day will be like this. It is a sixth sense, my friends. It is your third eye. It is the chakra that is working for you. Right? So if you can concentrate a little more on this, your third eye will open up. You will be experiencing a lot more vision that you cannot see just from your eyes. So if you can work on this, a lot of things will start opening up inside you. The color of this is purple or maybe dark blue. All right. And the last is the Sahasra. Sahasra is very difficult to reach because that's where we call Samadhi. And there have been a lot of prophets, a lot of monks. If you see Gautam Buddha, if you see Swami Vivekananda, if you see Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and they have all achieved Samadhi, right? This is the Sahasra chakra, where, the middle of the head, this chakra is located, and the color is white. The color can also be purple. So either purple or white. Now, how these colors are associated, there can be many questions, like how these colors are associated. So whenever you meditate, it will not start overnight, but over a period of meditation, maybe 3 months, 4 months down the line, you will start observing these lights inside your mind when you close your eyes. So every color that you see is actually that chakra that is working for you during your meditation. So if you see, for example, orange, your sacral chakra is getting activated at this point of time, right? So every color is associated with every energy level in the chakras that are being working right at that point of time. So there are a lot of yogic techniques that you can adopt. There are a lot of meditation techniques that you can adopt. There are a lot of mudras in the hand that we have that we can practice to actually enable these chakras inside our body. And trust me, this can work wonders, not just of giving you a material success, but also the spiritual success whenever we lead life. Now, there are a lot of, again, questions that people ask me, like, how do you define success? I give them an answer that According to you, who's successful? Do you think Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is successful? Do you think Mr. Shah Rukh Khan is successful? Do you think Mr. Bill Gates is successful? And most of the answers are yes, they are successful. Now, my second question to them is, why do you think they are successful? Because they have got everything that we want for in life. They have got all the luxuries in life. They have got everything. Now, my third question to them, if they are successful, why don't they stop working? The answer is this: they work for pleasure, they work for passion. So, if they work for pleasure and passion, why do they take money? Then their answer is, I actually don't know. So my answer to all these people is, whenever we end this, whenever the lockdown is uplifted, go out on the road, ask a beggar that, do you think I am successful? The beggar will say, yes, you are successful. Why? The beggar will say, you have a home to live, you have food to eat, and you have this throughout the day. I have this maybe once a day. So you are successful and I'm not. So the process of success is not just reaching a destination. The process itself is success. So everyone who's watching me right now, you are successful already. It's a journey. It's a journey of accepting challenges. It's a journey of, negating the adversities that we have around us. It's a journey of quantifying and qualifying myself and looking beyond the current challenges. I have lost one of my close relatives during the COVID, and it was really, really a pathetic situation in the family. It happened last 10th of this month, and unfortunately or fortunately, he passed away on 10th, and he was just 39, and 11th was his birthday. So it was a pathetic situation in the family. It was a challenging situation for me, my father, my mom, to take care of my other family members who lost their close ones. But today, on the 22nd of May, things have become pretty normal for all of us. It is not like the 10th or 11th of the May that what we were suffering is the same that we are going through today. It's much more normal. The reason I shared this experience with you is each one of us have a self-healing thought and self-healing natural medication within us. There are a lot of patients who are suffering from COVID-19. 45 to 50% of them are suffering from panic attacks. The moment they hear that they are COVID positive, a panic attack starts happening, and there's a lot of biological problems that they are facing. Trust me, every biological problem that we face are directly related to your mindset. So if you can nurture your mind, if you can balance your hormonal secretions through yoga, meditation, and practicing spiritualism, you can also tackle your disease, your physical strength, your biological happenings inside the body. Starting from gastritis to cancer, everything is related to your mind out here. Subconscious and conscious. How do you tackle these two? These are the most important part that we need to work on. And in every one of us, we have this capacity. As again, I'll quote Mr. Mitra again. We all are magicians, trust me. And from the day I am born, from the day I thought I came to understand this universe, this earth, I started talking. I remember my mom said, like, one day I asked my mom, ma'am, what does Souvik means? Why have you named me Souvik? And she said, Jain Rojal Jane, someone who knows magic. So from that day, I started thinking myself, so if I know magic, so I can do magic for myself and others as well. And that's the time when I thought of quitting a job when I was getting a salary of more than 1 lakh a month. And in 1 day's notice, I have quit my job from a media house and started off my own. And the next 1 year, I was running with a zero income. But I know that I can do the magic beyond this 1 year because life doesn't stop in this 1 year. This pandemic will go away. This wave has 6 stages. Trust me, we are in the 4th stage right now. There are 2 more stages coming up. But trust me, if you know the magic, you can sail across. You will not drown in between. Just stay as natural as you can. Just keep yourself as positive as you can. Just listen to good music, and music heals. Listen to nice stories, listen to nice talks, and consciously avoid the negative newses, consciously avoid negative talks, consciously avoid the journey of a person who's talking negative. But accept the death. Death is true. Birth is true. If someone is going away, if someone is leaving this beautiful world, that absolutely truth. We have to accept that. It's all destined. We cannot change the destination. But till the time we are here, till the time we are breathing, we need to keep the spiritualism at the utmost.